Hello, welcome. In few of our previous lectures, we have discussed requirements for CI/CD setup. That is, we have already discussed about uh, Git installation, GitHub account creation, and pushing the code to GitHub repository. And we have also discussed about Jenkins installation and setup. Jenkins is a continuous integration tool, and in your organization it will be installed on the separate server, but for our illustration purpose here I will be installing the Jenkins on my local machine. And this lecture we will discuss about running the test using GitHub and Jenkins. That is, we will establish an integration between GitHub and Jenkins, and we will trigger the test from Jenkins, which will access the code that is in the GitHub repository and run the test and generate the reports and also result file. Now, to run the test using GitHub and Jenkins, we have few prerequisites. One is GitHub account. We have discussed how to create a GitHub account. We have also discussed about Jenkins installation and account creation, and we need to get the path of the your GitHub repository. And this is my GitHub. If you go to this your GitHub repository and if you click on code and if you select HTTPS, you will get the link to your GitHub repository here, right? And this one link I have noted down here. And now we need to set up the project in Jenkins. Let us see step by step. Let me log into Jenkins. Jenkins is, if you have installed in your machine, it will be in the localhost :8080. This is the URL you need to type on your web browser. If I type this localhost :8080, Jenkins login will open, and let me log in and click on sign in. Now here on the left side you will find the option called new item. Click on that. Here you enter the name. Let me enter jpet store performance test, right? And select this freestyle project and then click on OK. Now in this lecture we will only discuss the steps necessary to set up this project in Jenkins. Jenkins in itself is a quite big topic. We will discuss that in some other lectures, but for now we will understand all the things that are necessary to set up this project now. Here description, you can provide your project description, whatever. Let us say, let me just give the jpet store performance test, and these things are not necessary for now. Let me leave this blank. And here source code management, I need to select Git, right? And I need to provide my GitHub repository URL here. GitHub repository URL is this one. I'll copy this URL and I'll paste it here. And credentials, here you need to add your credentials here. You can click on add, click on Jenkins here, and you can add here username and password, right? Scope, this one you can leave it default here, and here you provide your GitHub username, and here you will provide your GitHub password. Here you can provide some reference ID for reference purpose. It is for internal use in the Jenkins. Here you can provide some description, right? These two fields should be your Jenkins user ID and Jenkins password, and then you can click on add. I have already added the user ID and password, so I will just select here the user ID and the password. And now here branch, you need to set up the branch in your GitHub. In my GitHub, my branch is a main branch, right? I will provide here main, right? So these things I will leave it for now. That's not necessary for now, but here we need to add the build steps. Suppose you are running your Jenkins on Windows system, then you can use this execute Windows patch command. Now I am using Mac OS, so I will use execute shell. Even on Unix operating system you can use this option, execute shell. Here we will use the command to execute, right? I have noted down the commands, right? I will explain that. uh, so these steps we have done. Build step, this is the step to create a uh, directory based on the timestamp. Every time we run a test, then there will be one directory that will be created with a timestamp, which we will use for storing the test report and the result. First it will generate the directory, right? So this is the script to generate the directory based on the date, and it will store in this variable output dir, right? And this timestamp, it will generate the timestamp, and this timestamp will be appended here, and it will be stored output directory name. Now we will use this command, right? See, this is the path where your jmeter is, this is the path of jmeter bin folder, and also the jmeter.sh file in Mac. If it is a Windows system, you give the path of jmeter.bat file location in this particular system where it is installed, right? And then normal execution command /n/t non GUI mode. T means test script location. Location of the test script is with respect to the your main repository where the test plan file, with respect to your main repository where exactly the execution file jmx file is stored. This one you can give. For example, in my case, test script data and result, here it is stored. For example, test script data and result, right? And here test script, this is my execution file, that is jmx file. So with respect to the main folder, you give only that much path here, right? From the main folder onwards, this is the main folder. So this, from here onwards you can give the path, this folder, then inside this folder, and this is the file name. This much you need to provide here. And then similarly -l means location of the result file. Same way, for result we are using test result folder inside the same folder. For example, if you go to this folder again, this is the folder for test result, right? So that one I have used here, csv file, and this is the variable. It will generate the folder inside the test result based on the timestamp, and inside that folder this csv file will be stored. And then here -e-o is for generating the test report in html format. Here also it is in the this main folder and test report folder. Inside that, generate one more folder using the current timestamp, and it will be stored inside this folder all the html report files, right? This is about the command, and this is a normal command that we have used earlier as well. Only difference is we are giving a complete path here, right? After that, rest of the things more or less it is same. You just have to provide the path of your jmx file and path of your result file and the folder where you want to generate the html report, right? This is done. Now these are post build actions, like you can trigger email after execution, etc. can be done, but for now we are not going into that. Our main idea is to set up the project and build that, set up the project and run that project. And when we learn more detail, when we learn in more details about the Jenkins, we can learn about these actions like post build actions. So now I will click on apply, and then I will click on save, right? Now my project is set up. Now what I can do is I can just click on build now. So here it started building here. You can click on this number here, right, number 1, and you can click on console output here. See here, it's providing the logs here. It started the execution, and it is executing. It will take some time to complete the test execution. Once the execution is completed, it will also display the execution result here, right? Basically what it is doing, it is fetching the cloning the repository from GitHub, right? Our GitHub repository, this one, right? From there it is cloning all our code, and then it is started executing, and our results will be stored in the workspace. That one I will show once the execution is completed. Now it is still executing. Now the execution is completed. You can see here finished with success, right? And it's also displayed a summary here, right? Summary report. And here it's green color means success, and you can see the status here, and you can see details of the runtime and other details. And if you go here, you will see the if you go here, you will find the workspace option. If you go to the workspace, and this is exactly the location where your scripts result and report will be stored, under this folder, right? Test script data test result report, right? And here is your test result, and it has created the one folder with the current date and time, and inside this there is a result file, right? Similarly, there is a test report folder. Under the report there is a folder created with the current date time. Once you go inside, and there is a report index.html, right? And these are all stored in the workspace. Here the workspace means workspace of the Jenkins on the your machine. If a Jenkins is installed on your machine, it will be workspace will be on your machine. If a Jenkins is installed on the server, the workspace will be on your server. What you need to do is you need to go to the Jenkins folder. This is a Jenkins folder. It might be hidden file. In that case, you need to make enable the viewing of hidden files in your system, and go to Jenkins folder, and you will find a workspace here. If you click on workspace, you will find the project here, project name, and in the project name you will have a this folder that we have seen here, workspace test script data and result, right? And here if you go to the test result folder, you will have a result folder created with the today's date and time, and here you will have a data results that is generated in the CSV file. This is the result of our performance test run, which is generated in the form of CSV, right? If you go to the another folder, test report folder, you will find a HTML report here. This index.html you can open with the Google Chrome, and you will see the report here, right? Complete report of your execution. And here you will find the different types of graphs, and you can analyze the reports here, response time. And with this we have completed practically how to implement the continuous integration using Git, GitHub and Jenkins. And also we have triggered the test from Jenkins using the build now option, and our build is successful here, and the results are stored in our workspace, and you can access the files from your workspace. Space will be inside your Jenkins folder, right? With this we have completed the CI/CD understanding. Thank you for watching.